Report. You're listening to the Wells Report, which will return in 1 minute. The Wells Report returns in 30 seconds. Good morning. This is the Wells Report. What do we do here? We report the news honestly and fairly. We analyze the news for fact and bias. We point out both. We make commentary. That's not news. Commentary is opinion, yours and mine. And so we debate. News, analysis, commentary, and debate. This is the Wells Report. Hi. I missed you on Friday. I was out at the Texas Motorplex, which is a drag strip that had the Fall Nationals for the National Hot Rod Association, or the NHRA. It was an epic race. It was fantastic. It was a record crowd. I wish you could have been there if you hadn't been there. If you were, I was one of the guys in uniform. Had a great time. Hope you enjoyed it too. And so I'm a little sunburned, and my voice is a little hashy, but we're here. Time now for the front page. This is a news digest from the time that we last spoke and when we were sleeping last night until now. So here, let's go. This is our front page. This is now the Wells Report. Let's try our professional broadcaster now. Time now for the front page, a news digest of the time that we have at take three. Is this 3 takes now? I'm sorry, can't help myself. Just bear with me, okay? I'm getting back in the groove. Everything's going to be fine. Time now for the front page, a news digest from the last time we spoke up until now. Let's get busy. The Israeli-Hamas war continues. Here are some updates. President Biden has postponed his planned visit to Colorado today and will instead remain at the White House as Israeli forces appear to be poised to invade northern Gaza. White House officials said President Biden will participate in national security meetings throughout the day. His planned trip to Colorado would have been focused on the Bidenomics agenda. The president's trip to Colorado is postponed. It will be rescheduled. The president will remain at the White House to participate in national security meetings, this according to a White House official. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will speak with Russian President Vladimir Putin in a phone call later today. Senior Israeli officers, or officials rather, tell Fox News Digital that the call will likely take place this evening. No details have been offered regarding what either party seeks to gain from the conversation. It will be the first time the two leaders have spoken since the October 7th attack perpetrated by Hamas against Israel. The call comes as Israeli Defense Forces appeared poised to carry out a ground operation in northern Gaza. Putin offered Russian assistance to serve as a mediator between Hamas and Israel this weekend. The Lebanese military, for its part, has destroyed 20 different rocket launching sites that Hezbollah was using to attack Israel from southern Lebanon. This, according to Lebanese media. Hezbollah, the powerful Iran-backed terror group, has threatened to join Hamas in the war against Israel. The group has launched anti-tank guided missiles over the Lebanon-Israeli border in recent days, leading to Israeli reprisals. The reported attacks on Hezbollah rocket positions indicate there is a disagreement in Lebanon regarding whether to challenge Israel. The news comes as Hezbollah begins destroying surveillance cameras on several Israeli army posts along the border. This happened on Monday. Secretary Blinken, Secretary of State, said that Arab leaders do not want an expanded war. This from USA Today. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will return to Israel today after completing a 6-nation sweep across the region aimed at preventing war from spreading. And he's bringing back critical words from a neighbor. State-run media in Egypt, one of the countries that Blinken visited, reported that President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi told him that Israelis' pounding of Gaza last week exceeded the right of self-defense and turned into collective punishment. The conflict, which has killed more than 4,000 people, has raised concern it could spark a wider regional war. In Cairo, Blinken once again underscored President Joe Biden's position the U.S. would support Israel today, tomorrow, and every day, but also said Israel must take every possible precaution to avoid harming civilians. In state news today, in Louisiana, a stunning political victory for a Republican. Republican Jeff Landry will be the next governor of Louisiana after a stunning victory in the Saturday primary election, deepening the GOP stronghold in the state. Do you love Louisiana? Landry asked from the stage at his election night party in Broussard, explaining his win was a wake-up call. Quote, "This state is my family. We're going to work to fix this state because that's what families do. Make no mistake about it. It was historic and it's a clear signal. The state is unified." Landry, the state attorney general and a Donald Trump disciple who secured the former president's endorsement, has led the race from the start, but few predicted he'd win the primary outright without going to a runoff. In Texas news today, Dallas, Texas police identified the man who opened fire at the Texas State Fairgrounds Saturday night, injuring 3 and forcing the evacuation of those fairgrounds. All 3 victims, 2 men and a woman, are expected to recover from their injuries, according to Fox 4 in Dallas. At least one was an innocent bystander. The Dallas Police Department identified a suspect who was arrested on Saturday night as 22-year-old Cameron Turner, who fled the scene after the shooting and was apprehended. Police also recovered a gun. Turner has since been charged with aggravated assault. In political news this morning, federal judge Tanya Chutkan is considering gagging the former president of the United States, Donald Trump. U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan will hear arguments today about whether to place a gag order on Donald Trump as requested by prosecutors to avoid influencing his trial on election conspiracy charges. Justice Department Special Counsel Jack Smith asked for the order to stop Trump's speeches and statements on social media that attack witnesses, prosecutors, and the judge in ways that can sometimes provoke his supporters to take violence. But Trump opposed the order as political interference that violated a First Amendment right to speech in the 2024 presidential campaign. Trump has also asked Chutkan to remove herself from the case, which she has so far rejected. Trump is already facing restrictions on his ongoing New York civil trial, which is determining damages after the Supreme Court Justice Arthur Engoron ruled he had committed fraud for years in valuating his real estate properties. The order came after Trump reposted a picture on Truth Social of Engoron's clerk, Allison Greenfield, alleging she was the girlfriend of Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Engoron ordered participants in Trump's civil trial to not disparage his staff or staffers on a social market or social media situation. The DOJ is investigating Hunter Biden as a possible foreign agent while grappling with gun charges and tax evasion. Hunter Biden faces potentially a third set of charges, his decision not to register as a foreign agent and working with companies in Ukraine and China. The inquiry comes as the Justice Department recalibrates its enforcement of the Foreign Agents Registration Act for people to report their work for foreign governments by trying to influence U.S. policy. An Inspector General's report in 2016 found prosecutions and other enforcement actions were rare and consisted mostly of civil requests to register retroactively. But after Russian interference in the 2016 election, this, by the way, being reported by USA Today, the department ramped up the criminal enforcement with maximum penalties for violations of 5 years in prison and $250,000 fines. Senator Robert Menendez, the Democrat from New Jersey, was indicted Thursday for an alleged conspiracy to violate FARA as a foreign agent for Egypt. The results of criminal prosecutions have been mixed. Several high-profile associates of Donald Trump were convicted. They were subsequently pardoned by the former president. Other defendants accused of being foreign agents had charges dismissed or had won acquittals. For her part, presidential contender Nikki Haley tells Republicans to get it together. This from USA Today. Presidential hopeful and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley said House Republicans need to get it together as they struggle to resolve divisions and coalesce behind a new speaker. The House is in its 12th day without a speaker, and though House Republicans formally nominated House Judiciary Chair Representative Jim Jordan to the speakership, that might not mean he'll be leading the lower chamber. Jordan currently lacks the near unanimous support he needs from House Republicans to be elected Speaker. The chaos that has roiled the House can't, quote, fix Democrat chaos, unquote, said Haley on CNN's State of the Union on yesterday. You can't fix Democrat chaos with Republican chaos. They need to get it together. They need to get in a room and figure out who this is going to be and come out unified. This is not a good look. It's not good for the country. In sad news today, Suzanne Somers has passed away. She was best known for her roles in TV's Three's Company and She's the Sheriff. She has died at age 76. Somers' longtime publicist, R. Curry Hay, shared a statement on behalf of the actress's family with the news on yesterday. The actress, who survived an aggressive form of breast cancer for over 23 years, passed away peacefully at home in the early morning hours yesterday. Suzanne was surrounded by her loving husband, Alan, her son, Bruce, and her immediate family, the statement continued. Her family was gathered to celebrate her 77th birthday on October 16th. Instead, they will celebrate her extraordinary life and want to thank her millions of fans and followers who loved her dearly. The actress was born Suzanne Marie Mahoney. She would have turned 77 today. This ahead of her birthday, seemingly in good spirits, spoke to People magazine about how she had planned to celebrate. And finally today, Piper Laurie, the brilliant actress, has also passed away. This from Fox News. Barry Manilow, Fran Drescher, Jenny McCarthy, Melissa Joan Hart were some of the many A-listers mourning the loss of Suzanne Somers. I'm sorry, this is a different article. I introduced this badly. This is actually celebs mourning Suzanne Somers. Piper Laurie did die. We'll get that to in just a moment. Barry Manilow, Fran Drescher, Jenny McCarthy, and Melissa Jo Hart were some of the many A-list stars mourning the loss of Suzanne Somers following her death yesterday. She was 76. Suzanne and I were friends for decades. She was the sister I never had and my close confidant forever. This was Barry Manilow writing on social media. We shared triumphs and heartaches. Her fame in so many fields overshadowed her real talent as one of our greatest comedic actresses, a loving mother, an amazing homemaker, and one of the world's best cooks. The Three's Company actress passed away peacefully at home in the early morning hours of October 15th, according to her representative speaking to Fox Digital. She survived this aggressive form of breast cancer that took her life for over 23 years. Fran Drescher remembered her friend as a sweet and talented woman in a tribute shared on Instagram. TV host Lisa Gibbons commented on Manilow's post, "You two were more than friends. That bond is a forever thing. The picture of the two of you is gorgeous." Jenny McCarthy wrote that she lost a friend today in a post shared on Instagram. Suzanne Somers was not only a dear friend, but a true pioneer in the business and in women's health as well. Now to Piper Laurie from USA Today. Piper Laurie, the strong-willed Oscar-nominated actress who performed in acclaimed roles despite at one point abandoning acting altogether in search of a more meaningful life, died early Saturday at her home in Los Angeles. She was 91. Laurie died of old age, according to her manager, Marion Rosenberg, according to the Associated Press, adding that she was a superb talent and a wonderful human being. Lori arrived in Hollywood in 1949 as Rosetta Jacobs and was quickly given a contract with Universal International, a new name that she hated, and a string of starring roles with Ronald Reagan, Rock Hudson, Tony Curtis, among others. She went on to receive the Academy Award nominations for 3 distinctive films: The Hustler, Carrie, and the romantic drama Children of a Lesser God. She also starred in Twin Peaks in the 1990s. And that is today's front page. Coming up in just a couple of moments, we'll take you through what's going on with the Israeli-Hamas war, where things stand, what the state of play is, especially with American hostages being held in that country. We'll talk about just exactly whether we've done the right thing. Have we done the right thing in getting our hostages out of the hands of Hamas? We'll have more of that coming up in just a couple of moments as we get things going for this 16th day of October. It's 2023 and it's Monday. Back with more of the Wells Report in just a moment.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
Get your home secured for less than $1 a day, and every caller today immediately qualifies for free installation. Call now.
Call 877-275-0973. 877-275-0973. That's 877-275-0973.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Monday in progress. Hope you had a great weekend. I had a great weekend. The NHRA Fall Nationals at the Texas Motorplex. Okay, that's what I used to do in a previous life. It's good to have you here. We have a way for you to get in touch with us, actually, a couple. We have a telephone number, 817-379-2172. 817-379-2172. You can also join us on the chat room. We've had a lot of people who have joined us on the chat room. We want to thank all of you for being here. By the way, we've got a couple of different things from our front page, which wasn't very good today. Sorry about that. You know, I keep trying to get better at this, so, you know, bear with me. Poker Monkey said it's not up for somebody to define what self-defense of Israel looks like. This was in response to Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, who said that Israel's pounding of Gaza last week exceeded the right of self-defense and turned into collective punishment. More about that coming up in just a couple of seconds. But Israel is free to destroy them once and for all. And if Iran wants to get involved, they will regret it. Yeah, that would be, for all intents and purposes, maybe the end of Iran, or certainly the end of the Iranian regime running that country, but could also touch off a much wider war. And like I said, we'll talk about that as well. So when we come down to the reality of Hamas versus Israel, I've been thinking about this all weekend. And there are a couple of things that I've come to. These are the conclusions. First, Hamas is ISIS. In other words, it is nothing more than a savage, completely barbaric terrorist group. That's it. They are ISIS. Two, the Palestinians, they have actually empowered Hamas to be their leadership. The population voted Hamas in. And also, by the way, by staying in the Gaza Strip, staying under the rule of Hamas, that is equally a vote for the ideology that powers Hamas. That means it's not about a country of their own. It's about killing Jews. That's all Hamas is about. It has nothing to do with Palestinian nationhood. Nothing. That is nothing more than a ruse to be able to keep the opportunity to keep killing Jews in play. So Palestinians, if they wanted a country of their own, they'd have one. And they don't. Which means that when President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi says that the Israeli government exceeded their right to self-defense and have turned this into collective punishment is completely and totally appropriate here. Because you're at war with an ideology. Anybody in the Gaza Strip, anybody who's in the Gaza Strip now is either a participant in that ideology or a victim of that ideology. When I say victim of the Hamas ideology, Hamas isn't letting people out. They said they would open up the Rafah Gate today. We'll see. There are a lot of people trying to get out of that country. That is a vote against Hamas. That is a vote against terrorism. Those are the people that are actually reasonably good folk. Why they put up with Hamas, why they put up with all this stuff up to this point, I have no idea. But they are trying to escape, which is fine with me. So, to review, Israel isn't violating anything. I wouldn't be surprised if they bulldozed the entire Gaza Strip, turned it into a parking lot, and started over. As a warning to people that would do this in the future. You just don't get to slaughter civilians in the streets, in the neighborhoods where they live, and get away with it, and then claim you're somehow a victim of this serious nation-state response to that unbelievably savage violence. That's just ridiculous. There's more about that coming up. Oh my. As we unlock that, we'll have more of that detail for you in just a couple of moments. You're watching the Wells Report. Thanks very much for doing so. It means a lot to us that you are here, and we will continue with our broadcast in just a moment.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
Get your home secured for less than $1 a day, and every caller today immediately qualifies for free installation. Call now.
Call 877-275-0973. 877-275-0973. That's 877-275-0973.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right, for about $50 a month, you'll get lightning fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back, but you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now.
Call 866-245-6155. That's 866-245-6155. Again, 866-245-6155. 866-245-6155.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
This is the Wells Report. Good morning. I'm John David Wells. We're bringing you the news. We analyze the news for fact and bias. We point out each. And oh, by the way, that means we de-propagandize the news. We do that. We also make commentary. That's not news. That's just me talking, and that's just you talking, and so we debate. News, analysis, commentary, and debate. This is the Wells Report. Thanks very much for being a part of our broadcast today. So, let's get to some of these updates with the war over the weekend. Gaza is being strangled by Israel's week-long siege and aerial bombardment, according to UN experts. They have concerns that further escalation and a lack of safety for fleeing civilians risks drawing regional foes into the long-running conflict. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was back in Israel today. He is discussing his engagements with partners in the region, received an update on the situation on the ground in a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister, I keep trying to say it's Menachem Begin, he's not there, Benjamin Netanyahu. Don't ask me why, it's just in my head. State Department spokesperson Matt Miller said that in a readout today. In his meetings with Netanyahu and President Isaac Herzog in Jerusalem, Blinken reiterated his support for Israel's right to defend itself from Hamas terrorism, and he's taking the country with him as Secretary of State. That's the Secretary of State's policy, and thus the administration's policy. Blinken discussed with Netanyahu the United States' close coordination with the UN and regional partners to facilitate the provision of humanitarian aid to civilians. I want to talk about that. Palestine would have their own country. They would have probably peace with Israel to this moment had it not been for one important thing. And what is that? The worldwide humanitarian aid for Palestinians over decades. Decades. What we have done with these people is we've essentially given them a living. We've given them a living. The basis of that living, well-meaning, we'll give you this money, we'll give you these resources, we'll do everything we can so that you can continue your struggle for your own country. They don't want their own country. They've been offered 4 of them, and they've said no every time. Okay, so why are you there? You are there to kill Jews. That's why. That's why. That's why the Palestinians exist, apparently. All they want to do is kill Jews. That's it. Okay. So, if that's the case, and I can't see any argument to that case, then why do we keep doing this international aid to Palestine? We should stop. We should stop giving them anything. The entire country is built around a terrorist philosophy, and the entire world pays them for it. Which means one of two things. One, people around the world are genuinely interested in contributing to Palestinian terror activity. 2, why are they doing this? Because they're anti-Jewish bigots. That's why. And that's all. That's it. There's nothing else to discuss. It's like all these people worrying about the civilians at risk. There are no civilians at risk. If you are a nation, and you're a democratic nation, let's say that, and many of your population votes for a particular government insofar as they get the majority and they're running the government. Let's say 60% of Palestinians voted for a Republican form of government, that voted for Hamas. And then there are 40% that voted for something else. Let's assume that Hamas wasn't it. Let's say the Palestinian Democratic Party. Okay? 60%. 40% voted for the Palestinian Republican Party. Okay? So if things go dangerously awry in this Democratic Republic of Palestine, then 40% will do what Ronald Reagan said and vote with their feet and leave. And so that's what goes on in a nation with a populace that disagrees 60-40, which means that 40% probably do deserve to have safe conduct out of the country if indeed war broke out and they just didn't agree with it. But that's not what's happening. The Palestinian people agree with Hamas. They voted them into office. They stayed there under their rule. It is not a nation. It is an ideology. The ideology has made its motivations plain. And we have to take them for their word and their actions. No more international aid to Palestine. Will it be tough for those people for a while? Oh, yeah. Have you ever tried to live with no water and no food? You ever tried to do that? You can do it about 3 days. But after about 3 days, then what you have to do is you have to decide whether the prevailing government, in this case Hamas, cares one thing or another about their own people, the people that put them in the power. Apparently they don't. Why? Because they won't let them leave. They won't let them leave. They're using them for human shields, which is why they took hostages. And so what's going to happen is that Israel's going to drop a bomb, people are going to die, and they're going to say, see, those darn Israelis, they killed these hostages. No, the Israelis didn't kill any hostages, just like they are not killing any innocent civilians. They're killing terrorists, and they're killing victims of terrorists. The problem is not Israel. The problem is Hamas. Using human shields. Taking hostages from another country to use as human shields? That's a war crime. That gets you a date in Nuremberg and a date with a gallows and a rope. But do we prosecute any of those people? No. So what happens? Well, we have more of this kind of action. We have more of these terrorist actions. You see, if we go back to ISIS and all those guys in orange suits with people behind them with knives, mass beheadings, burning of Jordanian pilots in a cage on television. If we hunted those guys down, took them all to Nuremberg, convicted them of war crimes, and hung them one at a time, just like we did with Nazi Germany and just like we did with Japan, this would be over. It would have been over decades ago. But that's not what we did. We're trying to figure out what do we do with these ideology-based nations for all intents and purposes. What do we do with these people? How do we make them conform to the rules of war? How do we make them conform to the Geneva Convention? And we haven't figured out how to do it. Well, here's how you make them conform to the Geneva Convention. You watch what they do. If they do something wrong, they violate the Geneva Convention, you prosecute them on it. It doesn't make any difference whether they're a nation or not. You just prosecute them. Cha-chunk, the trapdoor opens, they fall to the end of the rope, their neck breaks, and they die. You cut the rope off, you lay them out on a slab, you take a picture of it, and you send it back to the nation where they came from. Just like they do with us. Now, are we going to set them on fire in a cage? No. We'll just hang them. Quick, painless mostly, I guess. But we'll send those pictures back to them. There you go, guys. This is what happens when you do this. Believe me, it'll stop. But we don't do that. Why? I'll tell you why we don't do it. There are two kinds of people involved in this problem. The people that are thuggish, Jew-hating, anti-Jewish, murderous, massacring bigots. And the people that do not demand that those very same rabid bigots stop their work. Because the people that stand by and watch enable them. There should be no reason for Rashida Tlaib to be in the United States Congress. She is a corrosive, absolute, just horrifying anti-Jewish bigot. AOC, same story. Ayanna Pressley, bye-bye now. Cori Bush, see ya. They're all anti-Jewish bigots. They should be gone. Why aren't they gone? Because the Republican Party won't act. Why won't the Republican Party act? Well, aside from the fact they don't have a speaker. Because maybe the Republican Party is a whole bunch of anti-Jewish bigots too. Because that's what they look like right now. Because they will allow that squad vermin in their midst would go out there and try to say that, oh, well, some people did some things. Ilhan Omar, why is she in the United States Congress? She was given everything. She came here at age 9. She was educated here. She was given everything. And now she hates America, and she still hates the Jews. Why do we have anti-Jewish bigots in our leadership? Because we don't demand that they be removed. So then we go from one stage of enablement, the Republican Party not getting rid of the squad because they're anti-Jewish bigots, right back to us. Because we don't demand from our representatives that those people at least be censured or expelled. No. You can enable Palestinian terrorists to go out into neighborhoods, slaughter, behead, burn, kill. You can do all that you want. But by golly, if you convince people that you should be in Congress, and we're not gonna censure you, we're not gonna expel you. But if you do something to violate campaign finance laws, you're gone. Anti-Israeli bigotry, no problem. We'll leave you in the Congress and we won't even say anything. But by golly, you violate those campaign finance laws, you're out. Oh, really? Would you say the perspective is a little screwed? I would. So we have this problem. And why does that involve us? Why does that matter to us? I'll tell you why it matters to us. Because sooner or later, someone's going to go too flipping far. They're going to, I don't know. Iran is just going to get a wild hair up you know where. And they're going to fire a barrage of rockets and hit Tel Aviv. And Israel will obliterate Tehran. One bomb, one rocket. They'll just simply roll out a Jericho 3. Off it goes. Tehran gone. 8 million Iranians. Bye-bye. That's why it matters to us. We got news today about some guy who stabbed a little kid who died because he was just the wrong religion. That's what happened. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you about it right this minute. Since it came up, I was sharing it. I was saving it for later. This out of Illinois. A 71-year-old Illinois man accused of fatally stabbing a 6-year-old and seriously injuring his 32-year-old mom was charged with a hate crime for what authorities believe was a targeted attack in response to the Israeli-Hamas war. Will County Sheriff's Office deputies found the two victims Saturday morning at a residence in an unincorporated area of Plainfield Township, 40 miles southwest of Chicago. Both victims were discovered inside a bedroom of the residence, multiple stab wounds. The boy was transported to a local hospital. He succumbed to his injuries. The woman was transported in serious conditions. She's expected to recover. The suspect is Joseph Zuba, C-Z-U-B-A, of Plainfield Township, was charged with first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, 2 counts of hate crime, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Detectives able to determine that both victims in the brutal attack were targeted because they were Muslim. and the ongoing Middle Eastern conflict involving Hamas and Israelis. So, Mr. Gazuba. So, you go out and you go into a neighborhood and kill some Muslims? Yeah? Okay, we're going to try you. Oh, we tried you and the jury found you guilty? Okay, we're going to do an appeal. Oh, the appeal didn't find any problem? Okay, we're going to sentence you to death. And that death warrant is written today for 60 days from now. And you end your life at the end of a rope with a picture of your dead face made public, just like they did with the Nazis and the Japanese command in Nuremberg. That's what you do. We're not having that violence in this country. More about that in a moment. This is the Wells Report. Thanks very much for being a part of our broadcast. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right, for about $50 a month, you'll get lightning-fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back, but you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now.
Call 866-245-6155. That's 866-245-6155. Again, 866-245-6155. 866-245-6155.
This is the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Got some things that I want to address on the chat room. Poker says, JD, please explain how so many Americans, like college students at Harvard and elsewhere, favor terrorists over Jews. I'll be more than happy to. First of all, we got to go back to this ridiculous empowerment of idiots on college campuses. Okay? First of all, if you are a Marxist and you're at a United States university, you don't get to preach against the United States with the upper class children of our age. You don't. You don't. Or you can, but you're not going to get a dime of federal money. Why is it that we're sending money to universities that preach against America? Okay, you can preach against America. It's a free country. You get to do that. You know, Harvard University. You want to preach Marxism? You want to preach anti-Jewish bigotry? Fine. First of all, your tax-free exemption is gone. And two, you're not getting another dime from the federal government. Oh, wait, you're going to change your policy? Oh, that's great. Except we put people in the pipeline already for, well, we're considering it another 20 years. So you're not getting any money for 20 years from the federal government because you're Marxists and you're anti-Jewish bigots. And by the way, that works if you're anti-black bigots or anti-Asian bigots or anti-anybody bigots. But let's go back to these college kids. These flowers. Well, I've been microaggressed. I need a safe space. But they are such virulent anti-Jewish bigots. Oh, they'll go out in the street and they'll start screaming at the top of their lungs. Gas the Jews. Oh, really? Gas the Jews, huh? You listen to me, you little college. I've stood in the Dachau gas chamber, okay? Have you? You worthless little scum. If I was the college chancellor and you went out there and you said something like that, you're gone. You know what? Don't even bother packing up your dorm room. We'll do it for you. Get off campus. Go back. I don't care where you go. You don't have to go home, but you're not staying here. Out. Period. You're microaggressed, huh? But you'll go out and you'll advocate for people that are beheading people in any country? I've been tweeting on this for days. If you stand for Hamas, you are Hamas. Even if you're a 19-year-old idiot going to a really fancy college that you're going to be in debt to for the rest of your flipping life. Even if you're just a 19-year-old dumb butt. Sorry, there's accountability. You want to be a Hamas member? May I suggest that you ask your mom and dad for a couple of $1,000s and head on over to the Gaza Strip. You might want to wait for a few weeks till things stop burning. But you might want to go over there. And then you start living that life. Instead of walking around in your $500 wardrobe that you just happen to have in one dresser in your dorm, carrying signs about how the Palestinians are so terribly treated, even though they've lived on the world dole, world charity that they use to pay the people who killed Jews so that their families and children had a pension. Yeah, you go ahead and do that. Done. But you don't get to have it both ways. You don't get to be a committed Hamas revolutionary, terrorist, and still suffer from microaggressions because somebody said they wanted to vote for Donald Trump. I used to say the problem with returning spanking to schools, which would teach these little snots just how not entitled they are. The problem with it is you take paddles into any public school in the United States, you don't know who to spank. Kids or teachers. Teachers or administrators or educators. What's the difference? Well, the difference is we've got twice as many people in a classroom. Some of them actually teach, and then some of them are educators. Oh, but the teachers union gets twice as much dues. Okay, well, who do you spank? Well, you start with Randy Weingarten. You take her out in the hallway. You make sure that a couple of other American citizens' parents are watching because you really do have to witness these things. You make her bend over and you beat her butt with one of those flyback paddles. 5 of them. Whap! 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 And Randy, if you step up again and talk about how you want to make sure that pornography is in our school libraries, we'll bring you right back out here again. But we don't do that. And why don't we do that? Because we, the people, just simply are going along to get along. Does that sound familiar to you? Sounds familiar to me. But we own this country. Why aren't we doing something better? This is the Wells Report. Back with hour number 2 in just a moment.
How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right, for about $50 a month, you'll get lightning fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back, but you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now.
Call 866-245-6155. That's 866-245-6155. Again, 866-245-6155. 866-245-6155.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
Get your home secured for less than $1 a day, and every caller today immediately qualifies for free installation. Call now.
Call 877-275-0973. 877-275-0973. That's 877-275-0973.
Hey, thanks for joining us this morning for the Wells Report, and make sure you share us with all your friends on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, Patreon, and don't forget to check out our Substack column, which will be coming up a little bit later on this afternoon. When you do all this, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you give us those thumbs up. They are really important. Check the notification box so you know when we're on the air, and whatever you do, join us every morning, Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. Central Time, for the Wells Report.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
North to south, coast to coast, around the world. This is the Wells Report. What do? We report the news, honestly and fairly. We analyze the news for fact and bias. We point out both. We make commentary, not news. That's not the news. It's opinion. And opinion is mine and yours, and so we debate. News, analysis, commentary, and debate. This is the Wells Report. John David Wells at your service. What is the difference between, shall we say, savagery and benevolence? There are times when the two are difficult to tell apart. Terrorism is in the form of a calculated move toward, say, for example, a group of peaceful people that you really have no quarrel with, but because they go to the wrong church or they have the wrong color skin, you decide that what you're going to do is go slaughter them. That's terrorism. Benevolence is what happens when after you go out and kill somebody because of the fact they don't go to the right church or they have the wrong color skin. When somebody in power, duly appointed by the people of your community, takes a bulldozer and bulldozes your house, killing your parrot, your hamster, your beagle. Now, you can stand there in your former front yard and cry and moan and groan about the fact that you lost your parrot, your hamster, and your beagle. And you could say, gosh, it's just a horrifying crime. Well, yeah, but your brother went out and slaughtered some people because they went to the wrong church or had the wrong colored skin. You lose your house. So that's the difference between benevolence and terrorism. And so, a bunch of people, Hamas terrorists, of course, they're trying to differentiate between Palestinian terrorists and Hamas terrorists, or Palestinians and Hamas terrorists, and there is no difference. They're the same people. Because if you live in the Gaza Strip, you elected Hamas, and you live under their rule. Since you don't have a nation, you're bound by an ideology. Therefore, if you hold the ideology of Hamas, You are Hamas. And, oh, by the way, just in case you want to know, this is what happens to Hamas.
Deir al-Balah, located south of the evacuation line declared by Israel in Gaza, was hit again on Sunday. Afterward, heavy machines shift the slabs of concrete, hoping, perhaps in vain, to find survivors.
They're all women, all children.
Across Gaza, Israel says it hit more than 100 military targets overnight and more on Sunday. In the aftermath of each, people rushed to frantically find victims, never far from danger. This video from Gaza City shows the sheer chaos as distraught men, women, and children try to figure out what to do and where to go next.
It is, as you can see, destruction. Destruction. They are destroying us.
Even hospitals like this children's hospital have been told to evacuate from northern Gaza. But with newborn babies and children on ventilators, doctors say they can't.
Where will these children go? They're on ventilators, and it's not possible to move them.
The World Health Organization said it strongly condemns Israel's repeated orders for the evacuation of 22 hospitals treating more than 2,000 inpatients in northern Gaza, saying forcing the evacuation of patients south could be tantamount to a death sentence. Across Gaza, aid groups say that food and fuel are running desperately low. The UN says most people already lack access to water. Foreign aid is being sent by the plane load and the truckload to Egypt in hopes of getting it into Gaza. But Egypt and Palestinians on the ground say the roads near the border are too badly damaged from airstrikes for trucks to pass. On Sunday, CNN asked the IDF whether it was coordinating with aid groups to ensure that supplies get in.
The IDF and the Defense Ministry are engaged with the international community to try and facilitate various different things. I think we need to leave. I speak on behalf of the IDF, so we are deeply involved in the combat. We are the warriors. We need to leave the diplomacy for the diplomats.
In just 8 days, the death toll in Gaza has already surpassed the number of people killed in the 2014 conflict, which lasted 51 days. And with an Israeli ground invasion looming and supplies running low, there is little hope that things will soon get better for the people of Gaza.
I have to be perfectly honest with you. I am touched by the struggle of those people trying to get through their next day. I hate seeing that kind of destruction. And I'm going to make this plain. That is the government they wanted, the government they support. And when that government goes out to its neighbor and slaughters a whole bunch of people, and that neighbor just happens to have one of the finest militaries in the world, they're going to bulldoze your house. The women, the children, the this, the that. Your government went out and slaughtered other people. No, that wasn't true. Yes, that was true. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. If it wasn't true, we wouldn't be bulldozing your house. Now, if you'd please step aside. Or not, we'd appreciate it. We don't have enough food. We don't have enough water. Probably should have thought of that before the thugs went out and started slaughtering your neighbors. Please step aside. We got to bulldoze your house. By the way, did you got to repair your hamster and your beagle? Well, we can't get this humanitarian aid into Palestine. The roads are destroyed. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm not a part of the IDF in command. You'd show up. I wouldn't destroy the roads because, well, it's expensive to rebuild them. I just put a bunch of soldiers out there with really good weaponry. You're not bringing that stuff in here. But the people will starve. They will die of thirst. Yeah? They should have thought of that before they let their government go out and kill all those people. You see, we want them to start negotiating in good faith, which is something the Palestinians haven't done in 50 years. And we are going to stop them from being able to be enabled by people like you who bring them food and water and all of these things, so that they can continue killing us when they just feel like it. Or when we're making a deal with Saudi Arabia and other Arab nations to completely deal the Palestinians out of the game. Oh my God. If Israel makes a deal with Saudi Arabia and all these other nations, we're not going to get the humanitarian aid that we've been using to buy weapons with. What would we do then? I know. You'd have to sit down at a table, negotiate in good faith, get yourself a homeland, actually set up a government, and actually be bound by the international laws that when you go out and you kill a bunch of people that are your neighbors, well, they take you to Nuremberg. They sit there and go, did you do this? Did you order this? Is this what you did? It is. Oh. Death. Rope. Crack. Picture. Bye-bye. That's what you do. You see, that's why Iran has all these disgusting dead-enders, these savage slime balls fighting for them because they don't want to end their life at the end of a cracking rope. See, if Iran was doing this, they'd already have a change of regime in Iran because all those guys would be dead. So Iran buys other thugs to do their work for them. And somehow the world just can't hold Iran responsible. The Kennedy Doctrine. If a weapon is fired from the island of Cuba and it impacts on the United States of America, we will treat that as an attack from the Soviet Union on the United States, requiring a full retaliatory response. If a Hamas terrorist or a Hezbollah terrorist goes into Israel and kills Israelis, that will be treated like an attack from the nation of Iran on the nation of Israel, requiring a full retaliatory response. End of conflict. Oh, yeah, we don't believe you. So they send a rocket to Tel Aviv. And so Israel, being benevolent instead of terroristic, sends a rocket to the El Bashir nuclear power plant and turns it into dust. Not even with a nuclear weapon. And then we'll start working on the government. We'll use conventional weapons as long as you let us. We're not playing with you people anymore. We are not enabled. John, you are so cruel. You won't even let these people have food and water. What about the babies? What about the old women? What about the Israelis? What about the Holocaust victims that ended their life feeling cold steel slicing through the sinews of their neck after all they had been through? Well, that doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? Well, because they're Jews? This is simple. No food, no water. And we'll see how long Hamas allows the Palestinians to die, because we will say, no, we are not stopping these. We are not starving these people or causing them to die of thirst. We're not doing anything of the kind. Hamas is doing all of that. How do you respond to people saying that you're killing Palestinians? We're not killing Palestinians. That's Hamas doing that. And you just keep saying it and saying it and saying it because it's true, it's true, it's true. But people will die. What about these little kids in the ICUs? Okay, tell you what you do. Stop getting snippy about the Israeli military coming into Gaza. Invite them into the hospitals and let them go through them from top to bottom to make sure that there are no rockets in them, and they'll leave you alone. Just like they have up to this point. No. If they come into, we'll declare war. Okay? And stop bitching about the babies. We're asking you to move them. We can't. Figure out a way. Invite the Israeli doctors in. They'll be able to figure out a way to move them. Oh, wait. No, wait a minute. Then you'd be cooperating with Jews, wouldn't you? Sorry, I just don't see it this ridiculously stupid way that continues to enable unending terroristic war, especially against Jews. But then again, maybe I'm just narrow-minded.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
Get your home secured for less than $1 a day, and every caller today immediately qualifies for free installation. Call now.
Call 877-275-0973. 877-275-0973. That's 877-275-0973.
This is the Wells Report. Boy, you're talking mighty tough, old man. Sure are. My God, you're sitting there telling people, go ahead and let the Palestinians starve. Yes, I am. Well, that's horrifying. No, it's how you solve the problem. You got two ways of doing it. We can do it the current way, which is for the last 50 years. Send all these people all this humanitarian stuff from all over the world that they immediately exchange for rockets and bullets and AK-47s and various other ways to kill Jews. Or we can say, okay, you've killed enough Jews. Now we're bulldozing your house. We're going to do it. Get out of the way. Oh, you're not getting out of the way? Bye-bye. Had your chance. Had 4 chances. Could have fixed it. No, because if you have to, gosh, if you're a nation, if you're actually a Palestinian nation, you got to follow the rules. We don't want to follow the rules. We want to kill Jews. Killing Jews is against the rules. Right. Which is why we don't want to have rules. Okay, we're going to bulldoze your house. Because you're not killing Jews. Ever. So either stop killing Jews or stop trying to justify killing Jews or whatever it is that whatever crawls into your head makes it okay to kill Jews. Get it out of there. In all these Arab countries, they're sitting there saying, my God, we've got to support the support the Palestinians against the evil Jews. We have to do that. Okay, I tell you what. Why don't you have all these Palestinians move in with you? Yeah, it's sort of like all the sanctuary cities in the United States. We will bring all of these tired, poor, the sick, the dumb, bring them to our cities until they start showing up. Oh, yeah, we support the Palestinians. You don't want to import them to your house, do you? Why? Because they'll start finding things wrong with you, won't they? Yeah. Just leave them in Palestine. Believe me, if we continue doing what we've been doing, which is to go for 40 years, giving them everything so they can repurpose their money into terror weapons so they can kill Jews, or we can say enough's enough, stop all the aid, stop all the water, stop all the food, stop all of it, and just wait. Sooner or later, people will say, we need food and water. What are you going to do for it? Well, we'll stop killing Jews for a while. How about that? No. See us in a couple of weeks. But more people will die. Yes. So we're not saying you have to wait 2 weeks. We're just waiting for you to start negotiating in good faith. How long that takes is up to you. You're killing these people, not us. We heard from our Palestinian sources that you wouldn't talk to them for 2 weeks because you want more people to starve. No. We told the Palestinians that we'd talk to them in 2 weeks, but they could talk to us sooner if they wanted. Yeah, you're getting your story wrong. And that's what we deal with. You're sitting there listening to all these uncomfortable words. You're saying this guy's a monster. No, I'm not a monster. I'm a solver. Donald Trump. If I'm the president of the United States, I'll stop the Ukraine-Russia war in 24 hours. You know what? I think he can do it. I do. Yeah, he'll just give the Russians everything they want. No, it's not the way Trump does deals. When Trump gets finished with a deal, everybody wins. Russia wins. Ukraine wins. You find a way to do it. That's what has to happen here. But, you know, in order to make that kind of deal with Palestinians and so on, you have to have a group of people that want to win. Do you think the Palestinians want to win, or do they just want to cry in front of television cameras about they lost their grandmother because of the evil Israelis trying to stop from losing their grandmothers? This is the Wells Report.
Nobody wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happened. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
Get your home secured for less than $1 a day, and every caller today immediately qualifies for free installation. Call now.
Call 877-275-0973. 877-275-0973. That's 877-275-0973.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right, for about $50 a month, you'll get lightning fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back, but you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now.
Call 866-245-6155. That's 866-245-6155. Again, 866-245-6155. 866-245-6155.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
This is the Wells Report. My name is John David Wells. Thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. I've said some provocative things today. I'm not saying them for effect, so they're not actually provocative. They're evocative. In short, I'm trying to change the unworking paradigm into a working paradigm. And when you have people that believe that they can solve their problems or attain heaven by going across a border somewhere and killing somebody that goes to a different church, humanitarian aid is not what you need to apply. And you don't need to parse out who the innocent ones are from who the guilty ones are. You just have to be willing to say that the guilty ones are guilty. You have to be willing to say that they're the monsters and continue saying it until stupid questions by a leftist, anti-Jewish, bigoted press stop coming. You have to sit there resolutely and say, you know what? Yeah, we're just going to stop these people from killing us. Yeah. And we've done everything you wanted us to do for the last 50 years. And gosh, you know what? It doesn't work. So we're doing something different. But what about what about the innocent Palestinians? There are no innocent Palestinians. They're either victimized by Hamas or they are adherents to Hamas. And because they're there, if they are so-called victimized by Hamas, they are Hamas. People who are adherents of Hamas are Hamas. You probably should have stopped this government from going out and slaughtering the Jews on the other side of the border, thinking about the life of your grandmother, your parrot, your beagle, your hamster. But you didn't, did you? Well, no, if I'd have done that, they would have cut my throat. Right. So it's okay for them to cut an Israeli's throat, but not okay to cut yours? Well, of course. We're bulldozing your house. Get out of the way. No? See ya. So don't listen to all these mainstream media people, crying about, my God, look at what the Israelis are doing at Gaza. That's more than self-defense. No, it's not. It's been going on for 40 years. This is a terrorist organization. This is ISIS. You obliterate them. It was really funny. I was talking to a congressional delegation. I was invited to a classified briefing. I was one of the speakers. And I stood in front of that group. And I said, this isn't working on this very same topic. This isn't working. We should give war a chance. Remember, we've been handing these people a living for 50 years. There's no reason for them to change because they're not held accountable. Indeed, they are rewarded for killing Jews. We don't hold the countries sending all that aid to Palestine or Gaza or whatever you want to call it. We don't hold them accountable because they're doing that because they hate Jews. So if we don't hold them accountable, is it because we don't hate Jews? Or, excuse me, because we hate Jews too? In other words, Palestinians hate Jews. They go out and kill them. We send them countries. We don't. Well, yes, we do, as a matter of fact. We send them all kinds of aid and so on and so forth, so they keep killing Jews. Is it because all these other countries also hate Jews? Well, we've been saying to ourselves, no, it's not that. We're just humanitarians. No, it's because we hate Jews. Because if we had stopped it 40 years ago, 50 years ago, they'd stop killing Jews by now. So, give war a chance. Speaking of giving war a chance, the Israeli Navy had some fun the other day.
Tired of fighting with Silicon Valley giants to hire...
That's not how they had fun, by the way. That's the commercial at the beginning of the video that I'm about to play for you. And, remind me to talk about how these images may be disturbing. All right, let me explain that to you here in just a minute. That's gunfire. They're shooting people in the water. That is a boat. So those are Israelis shooting swimmers in the water. They're terrorists. Well, wait a minute. What if they're not terrorists? What if they're not terrorists? What if they're just innocent? Oh, that's a hand grenade. Threw one of them a hand grenade. Here, catch this. Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah. What if these are just innocent Palestinians trying to leave? They're not innocent. Yeah, that's a boat. And so they're killing the people. This is what it looks like right here. This is what it looks like. Now, oh, did you not see that? Dad nabbit. You didn't see that. I didn't hit the button right. Well, I'm going to show it to you again. Hold on just a minute here. Let me say, gosh, I'm sorry. Here you go. Watch this. And by the way, oh yeah, no, Doc got it. See, this is one of those things where when you're, say for example, here, let me show you me instead of these guys. Well, I give them a free commercial. Anyway, this is what happens when you're trying to do everything yourself. So you have little constraints and so on. I always give credit to the people that give us this video and so on and so on. But it comes with a small cost, and that's commercials. Let me see if we can do this again. Now, this time, I promise I'll hit the button all the way, I think. Here we go. So these are people these are Israelis throwing hand grenades at what they believe are terrorists in the water. And I was talking about that earlier. Well, wait a minute. What if they're just Palestinians trying to escape? Okay, well, how do you tell the difference between a Palestinian trying to escape and a Palestinian who's a terrorist? Well, the answer is there is no difference. And Palestine has shown that over and over for 50 years. And this is tough to watch, isn't it? It's hard to watch. This is a gunboat. This is a gunboat being destroyed by the Israeli military. Are there people on that boat? Yep. Yep, there are people on that boat. They're dead now, but there were people on that boat. Now, if this was being reported by leftist media here in the United States, they'd be talking about, what about the poor fish that were killed? What about the innocent little fish? What about the innocent fish? Look at it this way. While we were killing all the terrorists, we were feeding the fish. That's just disgusting. How could you be such a rotten human being? How could you do it? Oh, here's how I could do it. You see, crazily enough, what are the odds? Seriously? You know that baby that they burned in that Israeli settlement the other day? It's my nephew. So, is what we're doing and what we have been doing working? No. Do we want to solve the problem? Yes. Do the people in Washington who will not immediately remove Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, AOC, and all those people because they're disgusting anti-Jewish bigots, are they enabling Palestinian terrorism? Yes. Yes, they are. And because we don't get on the phone and tell our representatives to get rid of those rabid, savage, anti-Jewish bigots from within their midst, are we accountable too? Yes. So I'm sitting here telling you that we need to end this once and for all. And we need to listen to facts, realities, experience. We need to be real as opposed to this fantasy land we've created for the last 50 years. These people just don't have enough food and water, so let's give them food and water. They got all the food and water they needed. They've had it for a half a century, but yet they still keep killing Jews. They got to stop killing Jews. They don't want to stop killing Jews. Okay, no food, no water, and we're bulldozing your house. Because that's what it takes to deal with a terrorist. That's what it takes. Everyone in the Gaza Strip, everyone in the Gaza Strip is a Palestinian terrorist. If they weren't Palestinian terrorists, there wouldn't be Palestinian terrorism. And if we, the people of the United States, and everybody else that's civilized would hold these countries responsible for their nurturance and their nourishment of these Palestinian terrorists who only exist on the planet to kill Jews, we know that now. The dewy film across our vision has been carefully peeled away. Time to look at it clearly and fix it. So let me take you back to a little nuclear weapons history. By the way, let me show you this. I got to share this with you. This is Donald Trump, so you have to run it through the Trump filter, right? I'm not going to do it for you, but I'll show you how I would do it if I were you. Would someone please inform our worst president in history, crooked Joe Biden? Mr. President, I'm talking to Trump now. Would someone please inform President Joe Biden, that's how I would change that sentence, anyway, who doesn't have a clue while he dithers around and illegally taxes his political opponent, or attacks his political opponent, me, and is always trying to blame everyone else for the many, many mistakes he has made. Okay, I'll translate that for you. Would you please inform President Joe Biden that he should stop dithering and blaming others and realize that's where we got. See, this is a much simpler statement. You just take the Trump out of it. But he's making a good point. I'm not de-Trumping it. I'm just turning it from Donald Big Mouth Trump to President Donald Trump. That's all I'm doing. Okay. But then again, I communicate for a living, and Donald Trump, well, he makes a living by being Donald Trump. Iran is rapidly building a large-scale arsenal of nuclear weapons. True. Once they have them, which will be soon, all negotiations stop. That's when our incompetent fool of a president, once they have nuclear weapons, once Iran has nuclear weapons, all negotiations stop. Period. But he continues. Our incompetent fool of a president will drop to his knees and beg Iran for mercy. Please, 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 Mr. Ayatollah, sir, we'll give you anything. I'll do anything you demand. Don't hurt us. This is the position that President Biden, he says stupid fool, has put us in. 3 years ago, we already know you were the president 3 years ago, but he says under Trump, Iran was broke, no nuclear weapons or prospects. Biden has made them rich, has no idea what to do now. I would agree, but I would change it this way. 3 years ago, Iran was broke, no nuclear weapons or prospects. The current administration has made them rich and now doesn't know what to do. That's pretty reasonable. Looks like it to me. They started an attack on Israel, desperately want to become openly involved. Death to Israel, they chant, don't let Iran have nuclear weapons. That's a little bit scattered. But anyway, the point of the matter is this little nuclear weapons history. United States dropped 2 nuclear weapons, 2, on the country of Japan. But what you don't remember were the truckloads and bomb loads and shiploads of incendiaries that they dropped on all those other cities in Japan. Which of those weapon systems killed more people? I'll let you mull on that. I'll explain in just a couple of minutes. We have to stop tolerating savage, barbaric behavior. Well, who are you to determine what's savage and barbaric? Okay, like the famous Supreme Court justice talking about pornography? I'll know it when I see it. Right offhand, I think the pictures coming out of Israel pretty much settles that it's barbaric and savage. I'd love to talk to you more, but I got to go fire up this bulldozer because I got to do some work around the house. This is the Wells Report. Back with more in just a moment.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
Call 877-512-3895. That's 877-512-3895. 877-512-3895.
How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right, for about $50 a month, you'll get lightning-fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back, but you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now.
Call 866-245-6155. That's 866-245-6155. Again, 866-245-6155. 866-245-6155.
This is the Wells Report, Monday in progress. Thanks very much for being with us today. Telephone number 817-379-2172. Months-long campaign, a months-long bombing campaign of the mainland of Japan in the Second World War, at the end of the Second World War, dropping incendiaries. 2 spectacular missions accomplished in a few days. Dropped 2 weapons. Which did more damage? Which killed more people? That's right, the incendiaries. But it took longer. It took longer. If you want to end a war, you do something that ends the war. Instead of fleets of B-29s flying over Japan dropping incendiaries, gosh, you know what? We took 2 and we drop nuclear weapons. End of war. Done. How much time do you want to spend getting rid of the barbaric, anti-Jewish, dishonest actions on the part of Palestinians, Hamas, etc.? Well, we've already got 50 years involved in it. What do you say we just end it? I think we should just end it. That's what I think. Hi, this is the Wells Report. John David Wells here. Who's this?
Hey, it's Gary from Fort Polk, Louisiana.
Hey, Gary, what are you talking about? What do you think? Do you think I'm nuts?
Well,
Do you think I'm just a cruel, rotten, terrible human being? Or do you think I'm on the right track of, say, if we want this to stop, why don't we stop it?
No, I absolutely, because there is a direct threat to our country, and anybody who doesn't see that or wants to admit it is just a damn fool. You got to go back a little way. Some of the comments made by President Trump about the nukes not being developed and under his watch and everything else. So they've been being developed for years. They were just a lot more clandestine about it. And what they're doing is by, the nuclear program in Iran being bought out, and we're doing it, or wherever the sources are coming from. It's just another thing designed by the enemies of this country to make this country look weak, which this country is right now due to its leadership. And that's across the board. It's not just a sock puppet in the White House and his handlers. It's both sides of the aisle. So that's all part of it. Our military is the weakest. It's weaker than it was after it was downsized after World War II. Not to mention the standards have been lowered and everything else. So we are in a precarious position.
Yeah, but we're more diverse, I guess. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, right.
That's good. So when you're on your knees and begging to get your loaf of bread and brick of government cheese every week, you should be thankful for that. Then I mean, that's where this is heading, folks. This is
when this particular American Army unit is captured by, I don't know, the country of Iran's army for whatever reason, they're all lined up against the a wall somewhere waiting for the machine guns to start firing. At least they can look left and right and see that everybody's represented. That this group of people that has been captured by the enemy and about to be slaughtered by firing squad looks like America.
Yes, absolutely. And it's, getting back to what you said, you have to understand something about these radical terrorists. And this is across the board. It's not just relegated to radical Islam. They don't want a seat at the table. They want to be heard. They want everything else, but they want to come in. They want to kill everybody at the table, and they want to destroy the table.
They want to take what they want. They want to take they don't want to exist with people they hate. Okay. So you got your choice. Either stop hating them, or suffer the fate that you are now suffering. It's completely up to you.
Absolutely. And once again, JD, if I may say, this is any radical.
You still there? Did I lose you? Okay. I'm sorry, Gary, but we lost you. So anyway, I think look, if we keep tolerating this, it's going to get closer. And the toleration that we need to eradicate is in Washington, D.C., being perpetrated by people we put there. You either motivate these people to end this now, or we will find people who will. That's what you say to your representatives and your senators. You end this now. And I'm not talking about stopping Israel from getting rid of a gang of ISIS thugs called Hamas. They're synonyms now. Don't stop them. Help them. Don't sit there and try to weasel your way out of something that is obvious. Israel is stopping all the humanitarian aid going to the Gazans. Yes, and we stand foursquare with their decision. In fact, we're actually helping them. Keep that stuff from going in. We want to negotiate in public with Hamas leadership. Immediately. Until they do, we're leaving things just the way they are. And we are holding Hamas responsible for every death from the end of this statement until they start negotiating. In good faith. This time. The executive producer of the Wells Report is Dirk Steele. My name is John David Wells. Our publicist and associate producer is Jube Dankworth. You can find her at Net Media Consultants. I know it's been a tough show, but you know what? It's time to get tough. Back with more tomorrow. See you then. All righty then. Okay, friends. Love you, mean it. Take good care. God's blessings upon ye. And like I said, I'll see you again tomorrow, okay? Thanks a lot. Got a good crowd today. Means a lot to me. It really, truly does. Let's see. Hold on. Somebody just texted. Let's see. Closer LA. Closer LOL. It's here. Well, it's not really. It's not really. But this guy who's killing a couple of actually killed a Muslim boy. Death penalty, dude. But he's 76. Yeah. Bye-bye. He really ought to consider himself lucky we're not bulldozing his house today. Because we actually caught him and will hold him responsible for killing a Muslim kid because the kid was Muslim and stabbing his mom in the bargain. And we're going to be serious about it. We need to stop screwing around here. We need to do what Americans do. We solve problems. We don't perpetuate them for political effect or whatever. Yeah, I'm talking. I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to get a job at a radio station somewhere. It's working. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it's just we don't know. So there we go. God bless you. God bless yours. I got to get to work. I got to put up the Substack column. Capital punishment should go up and down. Capital punishment should be clearly defined under clear parameters. And once those parameters are met, it should happen. And all these people that are advocating for all of these poor people that are been misunderstood or had autism or were in some way abused when they were kids. Darn. Because you get more of what you tolerate. Period. All right, I got to go. I love you. I mean, really, love. I do.